My Atlanta Falcons go on the road this week to take on Bo Nix and the Denver Broncos. My name is Tyler, here with my brother Ryan, and we're going to break down this Week 11 matchup between the Atlanta Falcons and Denver Broncos and provide our predictions at the end. But before we get into that, we do have a goal of getting to 100 new subscribers for these Week 11 prediction videos we have going out. So if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, leave a like and a comment. Let us know who you think will win this game and why. And so, Ryan, both the Falcons and the Broncos lost by less than 3 points, and missed field goals played a big part into both of our losses this past week here. Both of these teams should be coming into this game coming off wins, but that's not the way this game works here. Watched both these games almost every single second of both the Chiefs Broncos game and the Falcons Saints game. I want to throw it over to you though, because this Denver Broncos team here is one of the cooler stories of the season, just because of everybody knows what's happened the past couple of years. Go draft Bo Nix, and he's been playing pretty well. This team seems to be playing pretty well overall, especially on the defensive side of the ball. And this is a team that we've been tracking. We've been getting a lot of interactions as well from you all out in the YouTube verse, so we appreciate it. I'm curious to hear your all's thoughts. But Ryan, what do both these teams have to do to come out victorious in Week 11 here?
Yeah, I mean, one of the big things for me for the Falcons is they have to solve this pass rush problem that they've been having all year. To me, one of the best ways to stifle a rookie quarterback is to just get in his face and make him move off his spot. Because even if the Falcons can't get actual sacks, if they can just make him have to move like and reset, that is just that little extra movement that this rookie quarterback may not be able to adjust to, and maybe he'll make a bad throw and kind of go from there. With that being said, Bo Nix has been pretty good at that this year, but I still feel like that's the best way to attack it, is just get after him, make him uncomfortable. Because I do think, like, you look, Cortland Sutton is their best receiver. He has about 500 yards and a couple touchdowns on the season, but he only has 36 receptions on the season, so they're only giving him three catches a game. He might get 5 targets, and so he's a big play threat. I think AJ Terrell would be a very good matchup on him, and so I feel like you guys can man up with these receivers and get after him. And then offensively, I think you guys do things very well. You just got to capitalize on those drives that end in the red zone. You guys missed 3 field goals today against the Saints, and you did mention one of them was blocked, but that can't happen, because one of the things with this Broncos team that they've done really well is this is just a very well coached team. Sean Payton has this team playing efficient football. They don't really hurt themselves. They capitalize on mistakes that other teams make. And so the Falcons kind of have to be able to not make mistakes and not beat themselves. And when they get down on that end of the field, again, this also is a good Broncos defense. They need to capitalize on that and actually get points on the board. And for the Broncos, to me, get pressure on Kirk Cousins. He's not the most mobile guy. This is a pretty good pass rush that that Denver has. And from there, just efficient throws for Bo Nix. I think I like the Falcons matchup of AJ Terrell on Cortland Sutton, but underneath, I think there are other matchups that could be taken advantage of, and just do that heavy dose of running the football with Javonte Williams and crew. And I think they can win this game 23-20. That's kind of how they are looking to win a lot of these games.
The Broncos?
Yeah.
No, because that's my concern when it comes in this game here, as well as is how efficient the Broncos have been these past couple of weeks. They you all had the tough loss to Baltimore the week prior, but there were a couple of explosive plays by Lamar Jackson, Zay Flowers, but other than that, though, it actually was you guys were kind of in that game until, of course, the late second half. Then when you guys had to go for it on 4th down, it just couldn't get into the end zone, in my opinion. From that, I thought it was a little bit closer, and y'all played better than what the 41-10 victory was. And even in today's game as well, you guys were able to pretty much stymie Patrick Mahomes and his playmaking capabilities, and really made it difficult for that offense to move the ball down the field. And fortunately, on the flip side, though, the Chiefs got a really good defense and kind of stalled y'all in the second half. But in general, though, you guys put yourself in an opportunity to win the game at the very end. But just like the Falcons, though, just special teams errors, which is why we lost today as well. And that's going to be my concern, though, is typically the Broncos, as you said, haven't made those mistakes throughout. They've been very efficient offensively. I think a lot of it is that they're very good in the trenches from what I've seen as well. I think they have a solid offensive line. I think their defensive line might be even better. And kind of just to back that up a little bit, offensive line wise, only giving up 17 sacks so far in the season, 5th overall in sacks allowed. Falcons defensive line still averaging less than a sack a game, 9 sacks through 10 games. Today, I thought we did okay at providing pressure. We didn't have that many opportunities. We really just gave up 2 big plays to Marquez Valdez-Scantling. And then other than that, it was offensively, we shot ourselves in the foot. Like, I thought we were clearly the more dominant team overall, especially in the second half. The Saints really couldn't do much of anything in the second half. So it's going to be trying to shut down this Broncos offense. I can kind of agree with what you're saying, where try and make Bo Nix as uncomfortable as possible. But that being said, though, going back to what I was saying earlier, just about their efficiency, Sean Payton's done a great job with Bo Nix and making him really be very cerebral in that quarterback position, like roll out. If there's nothing there, don't force it. He's athletic enough to where he can go and run. So I think the thing that's going to come down to this game, which is going to concern me, is I think we're going to get beat in the coaching department. I think Sean Payton and his coaching staff, I think they just are just going to come up with a better game plan than Raheem Morris. Jimmy Lake, the defensive coordinator as well for us. I think for a lot of Falcons fans have a lot left to be desired, I feel, from the defensive performance overall, particularly as we've already talked about the defensive line. We have a lot of great talent in the secondary, which has kept us in games, but the defensive line, don't know what it is, but we just cannot figure out a formula. And I think that's where I think the biggest thing is going to come down to the coaching, because I agree with you where Kirk Cousins played well. We're going to have Drake London. That's going to be a fun matchup with Drake London and Pat Surtain. Kyle Pitts has been kind of boom and bust. He's seen some moments, but at the same time, though, some games have been pretty duds. Like today, what did he do today? I don't remember really talking about him that much at all. I had 4 catches, 55 yards, so not horrible. And so he had a long of 23 catches, but so maybe a little bit more consistent in there. But at the same time, though, too, Falcons fans, we've loved the rise of Darnell Mooney and Ray McLeod. But a lot of their best performances have been against much weaker secondaries, if we're being honest. And I think going up against this Denver Broncos secondary, I think it's going to be a little bit different. And just this defense as a whole. We can also get after the quarterback. We're going to have a very well-balanced approach. I think we're going to want to have to get the lead early and then control the clock from there and get Denver off their rhythm to where we're going to have Bo Nix throwing the ball 40-plus times in this game. If it's the reverse, I think it's going to be really tough for us to try and come back, because the Broncos, that's the style of game that they want to play, lead through the offense. And rushing-wise, what do you guys rank rushing-wise offensively here? I think it's pretty – you guys are 20th overall in rushing yards allowed, with Audric Estime taking a little bit more snaps. Still got Javonte Williams as well, and then the Jaleel McLaughlin. And so I think this is going to be a tough game for both teams. Us going on the road, I will say I'll start off with the predictions here. I was really hoping that we would win today for New Orleans. One, because we should have beat them. But 2, it would put us 3 games up on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So then we can kind of go into this game, because I kind of had this game circled as I think this is going to be a tough game for the Falcons to win. I think the defensive line and the defensive pass pressure is going to be able to get after Kirk Cousins, who's not very mobile as well. We don't really have that many explosive players as well. On top of it, as we got good options, but that explosive plays from the passing department, at least, I think is maybe a little bit left to be desired. A lot of big guys, but we don't really have that game-breaking speed, I feel, when it comes in our receiving room. So it's going to be, I think,
Darnell Mooney has pretty good speed, though. Like, he's kind of your speedster.
Kind of the speedster, but not the best, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so I think this Denver defense, I think, is going to win in the overall matchup. I think it's going to be tough for us to go in and I think take advantage of this Denver defense. I think our defensive line is going to falter on the road. I think this Denver Broncos offensive line is going to kind of manhandle our defensive line. I'm going to go with Denver, actually, in this. As much as I hate to say it.
Wow. This
I'm
is
going
your
to go with
first
Denver.
week 11, the first time you've picked against the
I
Falcons.
know. Well, it's I got to be trying to be honest, be true to our word. I'm just looking at the matchups here. This was a game, seeing how Broncos been playing this past month, and seeing how we've been playing and how we've had to win games. It's also too we are 6-4, but we could easily also be 3-7 as well.
You could also be like 8-2 right now. Like you should have beat the Chiefs.
Yeah.
You should have beat the Saints today. I
Yeah.
like. I'm also going with the Broncos. I do feel like they're just right now the better coach team. I really do like the Raheem Morris hire. Zach Robinson, I think, is a really good offensive coordinator. They're just young and not quite fully mature in their coaching positions just yet. And
Yeah.
I think next year, like this Falcons team is going to be really good. It's just right now, I still feel like they beat themselves a little too much. And going to Denver and Mile High, that's a tough place to go play. This Broncos team does not beat themselves, and I feel like right now you guys are kind of beating yourselves a little bit. I even go back to the Tampa game, which you guys won, and I still feel like you guys let Tampa hang around a little too much for where they were injury wise.
And so, as I said, because of that, it was a game planning thing. It was a coaching thing. I felt like because we have the talent on the defensive line. I think I like our linebacker room. I like our secondary, but I just feel Sean Payton knows how the Broncos have to play. They've almost perfected that to keep them in a vast majority of these games, especially over the past several weeks. Outlier of the Baltimore game, even though, as I said, I think that game was closer than what the score actually said. It was a couple of explosive plays that were just kind of random that helped Baltimore get a much bigger lead. But I just think Sean Payton's just going to have that type of game plan. It is going to match up well, I think, against how the Falcons play. The Falcons got to get a lead early and then hang on from there. I think, especially defensive wise, we're a much better second half defensive team. We love to give up 17 points in the first half all the time.
Yeah, and that'll be tough.
Score.
Yeah, that'll be tough against the Broncos because then they will for sure just pin their ears back and get after Kirk Cousins and make it really, really difficult on this offense. So we are both actually taking the Broncos in this one. I circled this one as a most likely disagreement between us, but let's go ahead. We'll wrap it up here. If you guys have not already, please go ahead and like and subscribe. It is the best way to help out the channel. While you're down there, go ahead and leave a comment on who you think is going to come out ahead. Will it be the Atlanta Falcons? Will it be the Denver Broncos? And that we'll see you guys next time.